the more of a leader you become, the more you're going to have to deal with these policing issues and with corruption. Your own corruption, but then others peer pressuring you into being corrupt yourself. You see, the problem is that when you're a high consciousness visionary leader and you're trying to lead others out of their low consciousness and into love and into truth, you would think that this would be, easy, but this is the hardest thing because the very people you're trying to lead can't appreciate the pearls that you're giving them. And so what ends up happening is that if the leader is too high above the rabble of the mob he's trying to lead, they come for him with pitchforks and they kill him. See, this is the ultimate limiting bottleneck of the rate at which a community or society can evolve. It can only evolve as fast as the masses, the sheep, the conformist sheep, which comprise like 80 to 90% of the community, are willing to accept what the visionary leaders are disseminating down. And usually they can't accept too much. They can only accept maybe 20% above where they are, 30%, 50%. After a leader becomes too conscious and too loving and too good relative to the mass that he's leading, they will actually turn on him and kill him or exile him or demonize him in some way, basically remove him from power, because the things he's proposing to them from their relativistic perspective seem like devilry. When actually it's the opposite. What they've forgotten is actually, it's us who are the devils. See? Which is why the most conscious politicians rarely get elected. Why is that? Because the people who elect them themselves are not very conscious and developed. It's a catch-22 vicious circle. So you need highly conscious and developed citizens to elect a highly conscious leader, because only a high consciousness and developed mind can appreciate another high consciousness and developed mind. But you can't get that high consciousness leader until you have high consciousness people. And you can't get high consciousness people until you have high consciousness leaders. So we're stuck. We're not really stuck. It does move, but it moves slowly. It's got a certain internal molasses kind of like internal resistance to it. It flows like molasses. And so society evolves like molasses. And that explains quite a bit. And of course, none of this is taught in school. And you might wonder why. And the answer is because school is corrupt. It's part of this whole catch-22. The people who elect the school teachers, principals, the school boards, all that, these are composed of ordinary citizens. Ordinary citizens, they're not self-actualized, enlightened people. They're very simple. They're conformist. They're very traditional. So what they do is they elect leaders who are like them. The teachers and principals who compose the school curriculum, who are they? Well, they're the peers of the ones who elected them. If ever a principal or a school administrator somehow gets into power who is way ahead of the curve, very conscious, very enlightened, very loving, some sort of Jesus-like figure you might imagine, if he ever gets elected to the school board, what will happen is that the changes and reforms that he makes, the critiques he makes of the corruption of the school system, will be so bitter tasting to the people who elected him that they will unelect him. They will kick him out. They will demonize him. And maybe even in prior times, they would have killed him. And of course, they would accuse him of corrupting the minds of the children, which is exactly what Socrates was accused of and put to trial and to death for. Corrupting the minds of the youth of Athens. See? That's classic projection right there.